something like this is only around about $3,500, and it will get you nearly the same FPS as a $10,000 PC. Hey, so I had to do a video of this PC. This is Josh King's new computer, and I had to do a video of this one because he's referred so many friends to Cataclysm, and we really appreciate that. And this is a really, really good example of what I personally would build for myself. So a lot of you guys ask me, if it was your PC, what would you put in it? And this is the kind of computer that I would build. This is perfect, and I'll show you why. This one is built inside the PC011 Evo by Lian Li, yet again. But there's a few things that we've done in this one to make sure it's really cost effective, very, very, very powerful. And specifically if you play Warzone, or even if you stream any game you like, this is the computer to buy. So I'll show you what's inside it and I'll explain why. So first up, I'll just address the cables because you're probably looking at them wondering what they are. And you see a lot of our videos with the Lian Li Strimer cables in them. And on the camera, it looks a little bit weird sometimes having the flashing lights on it. But for this one, we decided I'll just show you what they can do. This is the Lian Li Strimer Plus cables, the ARGB. You can assign them different colors, and we've got this pulsing effect that runs down the cables on this one. I reckon it looks really cool. You can change it up and do solid colors or like a waterfall, whatever you like. So the reason this one is so good, in my opinion, is because it's just the ultimate value PC without cheaping out on the case and the aesthetics, and you really get something that looks amazing, but you're not wasting a cent on this kind of PC. Now, I've said it a few times in the latest videos. About 2 or 3 weeks ago from the date of this video, I made a few stories on Facebook and Instagram, and I explained how the processor and the graphics card, A, do not work together, and B, are probably a little bit different than you think in terms of performance and where the processor is at versus where the graphics card is at. So to put it into perspective, this PC has an AMD Ryzen 5 5600, but it's paired with an AMD RX 6900 XT. Now, the first thing you're gonna think is that the processor is not powerful enough for the graphics card, but if you tuned into the stories that I posted, you would see that this processor can consistently get over 200 FPS on COD Warzone. And if you're asking why I always talk about COD Warzone, it's for 2 reasons. A, everybody plays it. It's just the most popular game that I get asked about. And B, if you can play COD Warzone at decent FPS, you can literally play any game you like. You can throw this PC, any game, and it will work perfectly fine. So what I'm getting at is the Ryzen 5 5600, even if you stream, is more than enough for high FPS on any game. There's no game that will not run perfectly on this processor. Now, you're probably thinking, why would you go for a 5700X or a 5900X or a 5800X 3D? And they do provide more FPS, but it comes to a point where if you have a 144 Hz monitor and the processor is capable of over 200 FPS, why would you spend more money on the processor? You can just get the best graphics card that fits your budget, and you can turn the graphics way up, have it looking really good, and you're still gonna get over the FPS that your monitor can provide. So if you were sitting around about 150 FPS on a 144 Hz monitor, you're gonna be very happy. So the situation with this one is that instead of going for the usual Lian Li SL120 fans the whole way around, we've gone for these really nice MSI F12A fans. And the ARGB, you can see them changing colors there. They're really nice quality. Airflow is great. They're not too loud, but it means that you're not spending $140 per set of 3 fans. You end up spending nearly $450 for a set of Lian Li SL120 fans in this case, because it takes 10 fans all up, and they're $40 to $45 each. If you go for a style like this, you can save up to about $300. So the graphics card, being the RX 6900 XT, is one of the top level AMD graphics cards, and it will run literally any game you want at any resolution. So I've used this graphics card myself for 4K gaming on Warzone, for example. Yeah, again, it's Warzone, but it's very popular. And if you check out the video of Hashim's PC using a 6900 XT, you can see that he's getting 180 FPS on high settings on 4K resolution on Warzone. Now, I did the same test with the 5600 processor, and the outcome was the same. We were able to hit 240 FPS. There's a few parts where it dipped to about 200 or about 180, but I mean, it's Warzone. If you're getting 200 FPS, you're very happy. So just to talk about the rest of the specs in this computer, we've gone with 3200 megahertz CL16 RAM, and it's 32 gig, it's Corsair, and you can see it just here. You can see them kind of syncing up the rest of the PC. You've got blue and purple running through that as well. The liquid cooler is a deep cool Gamex L360, and I recommend that liquid cooler because whilst it's not got the flashy screen of an NZXT Kraken, you're also not putting $450 in the bin for your liquid cooler. I mean, some people prefer it, and that is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with spending about $250 to $300 extra on your liquid cooler, but if you want to save some money, go for something like this. And the reason I'm pointing out these little bits is because this is what I would build for myself. I have access to 3090 Ti's, Core i9, 12900KS processors. Everything is here on the shelf but I don't spend $10,000 on my own PC. So if you're looking at some of our PCs lately and you're thinking, well, I want to get a $5,000 computer because that's what I need, you just don't need to do it. Something like this is only around about $3,500 and it will get you nearly the same FPS as a $10,000 PC. You've just cut a couple of corners where it really doesn't matter. So this one here actually has a 1TB NVMe SSD, and I can't fault the look of the case, I can't fault the performance of the case. So if you just want to get a computer that's going to be able to just plug in, play any game you like, and it'll run any settings, get something like this because it looks incredible. And the main idea is if you want to make all your mates jealous of your PC, whether it's the way it looks or the FPS, you can get both done with this. It probably looks better than what they've got. So if you're looking for a custom computer just like Josh was, and you like this conversation we just had, please just have a chat to me. I will tell you exactly what you need for your budget to do what you need to do, and I will save you as much money as I possibly can while still getting you very high FPS. We don't cut corners on quality, but if you want to save some money on the way it looks, go ahead and do that. Have a chat to me and I'll make some recommendations.